Hey, what up, though, YouTube? It's the Super Bowl, and I don't really care about sports like that, but I do care about snacks. So, yep, this episode is going to be showing off some of these delectable treats. We got chicken wings, chicken wing-a-ding-dings, and hummus, and these are like macaroni inside of bread, and these are just like chips, and then we got various like dips of mustard barbecue, and these are like 7-layer bowls of cheese and beans and pita chips, and of course beer. And we're hanging out with our best pals. Isn't that right? So join me, won't you, on this vlog adventure. So, the football game yesterday sucked, I feel like, because I'm not really into football like that, but I do watch the Super Bowl and have been for, since I was a kid. My dad had us watch the Super Bowl and introduced us to like pork rinds and snacks, so I'm all about the snacks. A lot of my buddies, close friends, are more into the actual game than I am. I never really have one concern about who wins one way or the other, but the Buccaneers slaughtered the Chiefs. Some funny Facebook musings. I take no credit for the jokes in this clip. They were from other people on Facebook, but like somebody said, there was no concern of the Chiefs catching COVID because they couldn't even catch a football. That was a knee slapper. And so on. So, we're all about like watching the commercials. We watched some of the game, and yeah, like the quarterback for the Chiefs kept on throwing those throws to the people, and like was being brought down by like 3 guys while he was doing it, and there were good throws from the Chiefs quarterback, but the players kept not catching the ball. And I guess Tom Brady is like the GOAT, if you will, as far as football. So, yeah, I mean, and what they said, and when I was watching the game, that the Buccaneers, before they had Tom Brady, weren't even a great football team, and then they got Tom Brady, and then he just, like, schooled them into being, like, really good, and I guess he gets up at, like, 5 in the morning, and they go over plays, and he's just, like, a football wizard. So, yeah, they won by a lot. So most games are more interesting when it's kind of close. Oh, and if you were watching, like, what a dickhead, when apparently there's this guy on the Chiefs who, when he gets a touchdown, he does this, but then the Buccaneers got the touchdown, and then the guy was on the ground who normally does the peace sign, and the guy on the Buccaneers, like, made sure he was looking at him and then taunted him like that. And then, like a baby, reported it to the ref, and then, reported him for unsportsmanlike conduct. Yeah, the Chiefs, they just got creamed big time. But we were all about those wings and the chips and dip and stuff like that, and I had like 2 or 3 beers, and then watching the football commercials, and they're pretty good. A lot of it was for this new Paramount Plus streaming thing, and they got something like Beavis and Butthead or something is going to be on it. I'm not going to be paying for that because I don't know of any particular shows that are going to be coming out on that which are of any interest to me to be worth paying another price a month for another streaming service. But the two products that I was most excited about was they were bringing back 3D Doritos. I was like, holy crap, 3D Doritos? Yes, I loved that when I was in like high school times. And then they had like another flavor of Mountain Dew that was like pink, with John Cena was in the commercial, and it's a pink Mountain Dew. So I was excited to try some pink Mountain Dew and eat some 3D Doritos whenever I get a hold of that stuff, whenever that becomes available. Maybe it's out now, I have no idea. But yeah, real quickly, the 3D Doritos commercial was Matthew McConaughey, and he was like flat like paper, and I didn't get, because most commercials for the Super Bowl are just kind of weird to grab your attention, so I didn't think anything of it, but I realized, anyway, so I'm jumping ahead. So he's flat, and everything he's doing, he's like paper thin, like he's like almost getting sucked up by the vacuum cleaner, and he's not himself. And then he goes to a vending machine, and there's the 3D Doritos, and he like slides into the vending machine, and he eats some, and then he like fills back out, and he's like 3D again and full and normal. I didn't even understand that was the whole gimmick until today. I was like, oh, he turned 3D as opposed to being flat because of the 3D Doritos. It makes perfect sense now. But yeah, I mean, I didn't even get it just because when I watched it the first time, because Super Bowls are just kind of weird. I remember the Puppy Monkey Baby Mountain Dew commercial, if you remember that one. It was just really strange a few years back. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't really rooting for either team. I was kind of like, you know, I was kind of hoping the Chiefs would win because Tom Brady is obviously like so great, I guess, that you're hoping maybe they take a loss. But apparently, you know, again, I'm not a big football person, but Tom Brady apparently is just like amazing at football. And they were, because they fucking slaughtered the Chiefs. So that's what I have to say about the football, and then I'm going to show you guys why I'm out here in my vehicle. So we're out here at America's Best. Again, if you've been watching the other couple of vlogs, you will have seen that I was out here already to get contacts and order the glasses, new pair of glasses, which I'm wearing now, these new pair of glasses. And so they offered to tighten them when I first picked up the glasses. I think I got them, today's Monday, the day after the Super Bowl. And I got these glasses last Monday, so I've had them for about a week. And when I picked them up, they offered to tighten them for me. And the only pair of glasses I've ever owned was like from about 10 or 11 years ago. So I've only had one pair of glasses ever. And I don't have experience in like buying new glasses often, or knowing that that's even an option, that they'll tighten them. But they offered to tighten them, and then I was like thinking, I don't want them too tight or whatever, but like the glasses will get, you know, more loose over time anyway. So I had a mask on, as you have to wear in the store, and they were sitting fine on my face, so I said to not tighten them, don't worry about it. But they kind of slide off my face some. So yeah, I had to drive my wife into work today anyway, because her car is being worked on. So I figured I'd come over here, because this is like 2 minutes away from where she works anyway. Because they offered that I could come back at any time and just have them tightened if I felt like that was necessary. And so yeah, that's why I'm here, and that's what we're about to do. So that was pretty interesting. I went in there and it was pretty quick and everything, and basically it's weird, they set them, I wish I could have shown you guys, but I tried to bring the vlog camera in when I went to my appointment the first time, and they seemed to think it was like some sort of like HIPAA violation, but even though, like, I don't see how you can like HIPAA yourself. It'd be one thing to film like another person or patient's you know, session, but I'm filming myself. And then if it's an issue of like showing the employees, like everyone's wearing masks these days, so I don't see what the issue is with that. So I didn't even bother to bring the camera in, but it looks like they take the glasses and set them, it seemed like, on some sort of hot plate, and then it makes them tighter, the sides of the glasses, and then so when they handed them back to me to try, the glasses were like hot, or warm anyway. So that was kind of strange. I thought maybe they were going to take some like tiny screwdriver and tighten up the hardware like that, but it was like through like a melting or some weird process like that. If you know something that I don't about how they tighten glasses, leave a comment in the comment section, but that was interesting to me. So I'm gonna get these construction paper Joker's cards out of my vehicle, and if you're a juggalo, most juggalos are watching the vlogs anyway, you already know what that is. But if you're unaware, they're the characters that represent the albums of the Insane Clown Posse, and specifically I constructed the first 6 of the Joker's cards. So they've been chilling back here in the back seat, and this one is the Great Malenko. It was extra big, so it's in this folder. That's actually 2 folders put together, and then the rest are in here. And they've just been sitting in my car. I made them for work for Halloween a couple years ago, and I finally took them home, and in the interests of showing you guys interesting things for the vlog, I'm going to bring these inside and show you guys these characters that I made here in just a little bit. Here's some leftover chicken wing-a-ding-dings in the bowl here, and before we get into showing you any more interesting things in this week's vlog, I'm just going to sit down and watch some Digimon Digital Monsters. And if you don't like that show, you can kick rocks, because that's like my whole childhood. I loved that show. The theme song hooked me right in, and I gotta tell you, with most new shows, the advertising for them, like, alright, for example, Chappelle's Show, when I first saw a commercial for that on Comedy Central, it was just him, and he was like beating on the glass like he's trying to break in and get into television or whatever. I was like, oh, this show looks dumb. I ended up, obviously I love Chappelle's Show, and I can get into a side tangent about how he had Chappelle's Show he asked them to remove it from those streaming services because he's not being paid, and the whole debacle with the Chappelle Show and him leaving the show and all this. So at his request, like HBO Max and Netflix or whatever else, at his request, removed the Chappelle Show and asked people to not really watch it like that. But I watched it back when it first ever aired, and I loved Chappelle's Show, and I thought that I wouldn't. The same thing went for Digimon. I'm not a big anime guy at all. I like Dragon Ball Z because my friends at the time were into that when we were in like 6th grade. And I got into that at the end of the Frieza era and start of the Android series, out through the Cell Saga, and all of that was cool. Then they got into Majin Buu, And then that was kind of okay, and then I kind of fell off from watching Dragon Ball Z. Same thing with Digimon. Once you got to the third season, they made it more like a card game. And I've heard, so I stopped watching it at the third season, but I've heard that there's like new a new version of the original series that's also on Hulu of Digimon. I haven't really watched that and everything. I don't know if that's like a Japanese version or not, but I liked the American original season of Digimon because I'm not like I wasn't into Pokemon. I hope you guys are enjoying this shot of just chicken fingers or chicken wings as I'm speaking about Digimon. But yeah, the Digimon show. I've lost my train of thought here. Anyway, yeah, I'm about to watch that and eat these wings. So that was pretty damn tasty. Just some commentary on the Digimon episode. I'm up to episode 8 of the original season and series. And what's funny is, if you've never seen it, basically it starts out, they get sucked into the digital world of Digimon, the kids, and they get assigned a Digimon that protects them. And then they, in each episode, encounter different Digimon, and they have like a evil black gear inside of the Digimon that are coming after the kids. And then they're always like, oh, that's, like in this episode, they're like, oh, that's Leomon, he's a nice Digimon. And then he'll attack them because he's like possessed by evil. But what's funny is that like they've encountered that scenario multiple times by now, and I think it's weird that they haven't figured out by now that you can't rely on the fact that, oh, that's a good Digimon, because he's like, they've all been possessed by a black gear. So I would kind of like write off the fact that they're like a good Digimon because they keep encountering them and they're possessed by an evil black gear. You might not. Sorry about that. I had to delete a lot of the footage from the other vlogs off of the camcorder. I think a big chunk of the data was being eaten up by, I had filmed, if you were watching the other vlogs, when I called Cox, I was on that call for like 50 minutes, so that was a large chunk of data. Anyway, it interrupted what I was rambling on about Digimon, and again, you can skip past this part if you have no idea or any interest about Digimon. But I was just simply saying that the kids keep falling for the same plot device, which is that they encounter Digimon that the other Digimon are saying is that, oh, that's a nice Digimon, not an evil one, but then they are evil because they're possessed by an evil black gear, and it's happened to them like 8 times. So it's funny that they kept falling for that. And this is the last thing I'll say about Digimon. Sorry if you have no interest in that at all. But to me, oh man, these glasses are definitely tighter, which is good because they don't fall off the face as easily. So anyway, again, like before in the other clip, not a big anime guy. I don't watch all animes, but it was the theme song that hooked me. Digimon, Digital Monsters, that thing, that theme song slaps. I was like in 5th grade when I watched it, and in like 2nd grade, Pokemon was super big, and I've got respect for Pokemon now, given the fact that it's lasted like 20 plus years, and I'm not into Pokemon in any way, but like I respect it. So I mean, like I find it really rude and annoying when people are like, "Oh man, Digimon sucks." Like, you know what? Fuck you. I liked Digimon as a kid. I watch it as a 32-year-old adult for the nostalgia, and I enjoy catching up on the episodes. So, um, anyway, when I was like in second grade, you gotta consider a second grader is like pretty young, like 8 years old. So as an 8-year-old, when I saw Pokemon on TV, I was like, oh, this show's obviously geared towards little kids. And this is an 8-year-old me saying that. So I'm assuming that's even for kids even younger than 8 years old, like a 5-year-old is into Pokemon. But then everybody loved Pokemon. Like, like my best friends at the time, rednecks at school liked Pokemon. A redneck at school one time was like, do you like Pokemon or Digimon? And I like just kind of shrugged it off because, I mean, people were very confrontational and divisive even back then. It's even a million times worse now. But I just shrugged it off. He's like, there's only one right answer. It's Pokemon. So it just blows my mind how people are so, it has to be one thing and not the other thing. Some people like Pokemon and Digimon. Like, what the hell? Like, anyway, I liked Pokemon. I liked Digimon. Because to me it seemed cooler than Pokemon. Like, I didn't like Pokemon. I was annoyed by the fact that everybody loved it. And again, now, my opinion's changed. Like, if you're into Pokemon, that's great. Like, I don't care. Like, you're free to like Pokemon. I'm not gonna, like, call you an ass for it, or make fun of you for that. You can be 40 plus years old and, like, be into Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and I don't give a shit what else. Hold on, I gotta let my kitty cat back inside. Come in. So yeah, as I was like going on about, Pokemon was super big when I was in like second grade, and I was like 8 years old. Everybody loved it. I thought it seemed like a childish, like, little kid show for like toddlers basically, and everybody loved it, and I did not care for it. But then Digimon came out, and I thought that looked stupid too. And then I came home from school one day, and it was just me at the house, and then I watched the first episode. The theme song came on, and I was hooked right there. And from there, I thought the animation and, like, the illustrations of the monsters were much cooler than the Pokemon. Sorry for saying it. Again, if you're into Pokemon, that's great, and I respect it for lasting 20 plus years into the future, and it's still like a big thing, and there's Pokemon Go, all this, that, and the other. I liked Digimon, and yeah, I'm triggered when people are like, oh man, you like Digimon? Digimon sucks. Like, fuck you. I don't, like, when Family Guy was a new show, I was like, I don't know how old, I was like in Boy Scouts. And I thought that was a super funny show, and it was when it was brand new, and there was this kid that was also in Boy Scouts, and we were at a Boy Scout meeting, and I was making conversation with him, and I was like, man, have you seen that show Family Guy? And like, he like instantly like judged me on it, because he was kind of like goody two-shoes, and he was like, I don't like that show. And I was like, yeah, me neither. And lied, because I did like the show Family Guy. Lo and behold, Family Guy's like a hugely popular show, and I have not kept up on Family Guy in years. But I think Family Guy's funny. So, not to draw like lines of like divisiveness, but like I do prefer South Park. And I know South Park had an episode making fun of Family Guy and all this, but like, going back to the beginnings of it all, like, Family Guy, new show, controversial, got canceled. I think it's like been canceled twice. I want to say I read an article saying that it's the only show to have been canceled maybe 3 times. I might be wrong, but it's been canceled at least twice. in the show, yeah, he's got controversial jokes making fun of Jews and just other like topics and this, that, and the other. But I thought it was funny, and then that kid judged me, it seemed, and then I like backpedaled and said that I didn't like the show when I actually did. And I didn't like that feeling of lying about, like, you know, what I liked or didn't like. So I eventually came to the conclusion that I'm not going to lie about the shit that I'm into anymore, you know? Because, like, Insane Clown Posse, I'm super into Insane Clown Posse. And, I don't know, I don't think I ever hid that fact. I think that was, like, kind of, like, when I decided, like, you know, I'm not going to lie about, like, this stuff that I'm into, because when I was in high school, a lot of people didn't like ICP or thought it was garbage, you know, and people who aren't juggalos who watch the vlog might watch this, and that's their opinion. Well, I'm sharing my perspective, and I'm into Insane Clown Posse. And I know that all my Juggalo homies that are like watching this, which is the majority of the people that keep up with the vlogs, already know the deal and are down just like I am. But yeah, I think I just wanted to kind of like have a rant about, like, you know, if you're into what you're into, and like I might not be into what you're into, but like you're free to celebrate that and be into it as much as you like. I had a post on Facebook mentioning that the Digimon show was on Hulu if you were interested in that, and like there was people who I was friends with on Facebook who, like, people that I normally don't even agree with or talk to that much on Facebook about stuff, even saying, like, you know, that was their childhood too, and like, you know, great, that's awesome. And then somebody was like, oh yeah, Digimon sucks, and I'm not really concerned about the person watching this and seeing what I'm talking about, because I doubt they watch my videos anyhow. But if they do, I mean, like, I'm just calling it out, like, you know, I didn't put the post on Facebook to create a debate about if you like Digimon or don't like Digimon. I said if you're into Digimon, then it's on Hulu and you can go enjoy it. And then it kind of brought across, like, people who I normally don't even talk to that much, saying, hey, that's, you know, I like Digimon too. I didn't have it up, like, to have a debate about if you like Digimon or not. Sorry for having the long rant about it, but, yeah, Digimon rant, anyway. But it's just kind of showing to me, like, people can agree on any goddamn thing, even when it's like an innocent musing on Facebook, mentioning, like, hey, here's this show that's on this streaming service. If you don't like the show, then don't watch it. And, like, if I didn't ask for your opinion. Now, I say this, and I realize that when you go onto social media and say anything, or like even in this video, like, I'm putting that onto the internet to be judged. So, I mean, I did get triggered by the little, like, comment, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you have to, like, kind of, like, take into perspective, like, you're putting your opinion onto the internet where other people will judge it, and it's their free choice to comment back on it. So you can't really be too upset when people say or criticize the things that you're putting onto the internet with the freedom of speech to, like, comment about it. So it is going onto the internet to be judged. So there is that. But yeah, my point is, like, I didn't like Pokemon as a child, but I never gave anyone a hard time for it even then, if they did like it. But now, as a more matured adult, you know, if you're into that, I have respect for that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you should be into what you're into, And don't give anyone else a hard time over it. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Unless, like, you know, obviously if, like, someone's open about being a child murderer, well, maybe then you could be like, I think you're going down the wrong path there, buddy. So anyway, that's my rant. Sorry for taking up a whole 8 minutes of a clip, but you know, it is what it is. So as you could tell from my rant and this display here on the table, my life is a complete and utter mess. So with the magic of video editing, we're going to clean up my act a bit here. And voila, yep, it looks much better. You'll notice we probably need a new like coffee table. This is like a cheap thing from Walmart, and all this like spackles of it's like where the paint has like chipped away. I think this was only $30, but this is about as good as it's gonna get for the time being. So as you can see here, I'm working on Toon Tuesday, and by the time this vlog outs, hopefully this will have already came out. And in this clip here, obviously this is my buddies from Canada, and I'm taking the piss out of them a little bit here. Hopefully they weren't offended by this episode. They got the character on the left one time told me that he's not offended by anything, and he definitely trolls the shit out of me, so I figure it's fair game. But hopefully they feel like honored by this. I know that they were going through a lot, which I won't get into their private details, but we've been friends for years, so I think it's all fair game. So these were all the Joker's card characters I was referring to earlier when I was outside. And yeah, I created these. I mean, I didn't. ICP made these, obviously, but I made these construction cutouts for an art project at my work for Halloween time. They asked me to do something Halloween related, so I worked on all of these, and each one took about 2 hours each, and so I'd say it's at least 12 hours of work here. And I'd just like to take a moment to go through each one and kind of talk about the background and story. And if you're a juggalo, you already know this, but if not, you will get schooled here. So here we have the Carnival of Carnage. This was the first Insane Clown Posse Joker's card. It kind of set the tone for the story. Basically, this is them back when they were kind of like a small street gang running through the ghetto, claiming the name of ICP. And in this album, the ending story kind of leaves you with the message that the ghetto and the poor and destitute will one day rise up and overthrow the powers that are, and the rich elite people will be overtaken by the scrubs and the thugs that people turn away from. Normally, they will basically take over and rise from the sewers and so on and so forth. Moving on, we have the Ringmaster, the second album. And the Ringmaster is bringing in the souls of the wicked, and they are like wax figures, and he's the ringmaster of the carnival. And when you die, see, all the albums are about a message of like what happens to you in the afterlife when you die. So the more sins you have, the bigger the sin monster is. So when you die, the bigger he is. So if you don't have a lot of sins, he's smaller. So when you die and had a lot of sins, do you think you could whip its ass? Or will your sin monster be so powerful that he is too much to control, I guess? Here we have the Riddle Box. Basically, pretty much my favorite album. The first album I listened to. Many juggalos would say the same. And the premise for this album was, again, when you die and pass away, you'll be presented with a box with a question mark on it, and you turn the crank, and if you were good and lived a mostly good life, then it pops up good and you go to heaven. And then if you were wicked and sinned and just were a bad person, then you'll fall into the hell's pit there. And going off of explaining the albums real quickly, I just would like to go back to this card here and point out, like, when I was making this one, this is all one piece of yellow construction paper because the colors are like yellow and black, which are actually my high school colors, Floyd High School. So it's just one piece of yellow construction paper, and I filled in all the black with marker, versus these two and the rest are usually two different colors. So it's like construction paper, like the green is glued on top of the purple, and I colored in the black eyes. This one actually had black construction paper, but on the black on the rest of the characters I used just like a marker. So moving on, we got the Great Malenko here. And the Great Malenko is a necromancer. He's a caster of illusions. This album is dope. It's very good. It's the follow-up Joker's card to the Riddle Box. And on this record, they had guitar playings of Slash and Alice Cooper. And they were signed to Disney. And this is the album that most non-juggalos have heard. They know the song The Dating Game, they call it. Most juggalos know it as the Neddin' Game. Neddin' is slang for pussy. So anyway, the Great Malenko, he casts illusions, and all the albums are about punishing evildoers. So in this album they have each album kind of has mentions a carnival ride usually, and on this album they have the halls of illusions, and then you see it's showing people their lives had they lived a good life. It shows them with a happy family and all this, but then it's just an illusion, because in reality they're wife beaters and bigots and this, that, and the other, so they get tortured and killed. So yeah, the Great Malenko kind of casts illusions, and things don't always appear as they seem. Then we have the Jekyll Brothers card. And this was just a creative choice because it's two faces. There's Jake Jekyll and Jack Jekyll. One is good and one is evil. What it basically is, the concept of this album is they're doing a juggling act of fireballs, and the fireballs are your soul. So yeah, I guess that the entry price to watch the performance under the carnival's tent is just your soul, and your soul gets thrown into the mix, And the more souls they juggle, the harder it is. The evil side tries to mess up the good side, and then then if they drop the souls, you'll fall into hell's pit. And excuse me. For the purpose, this was all going on like a design board at work. So rather than like construct both the faces or just one or the other, I did the combination of both. On this album, they have Snoop Dogg as a guest, and this is the album that comes right before the final and sixth Joker's card, which is this one here. This is the Wraith, and it's the final installment to the Joker's cards. And basically he takes you to either heaven or hell. You know, when you die, most of the albums talk about punishing the wicked souls, but it's not just a one-way path to hell. Like, there is a chance to go to heaven, or as they call Shangri-La. And on this card they revealed that they in fact follow God. Many people throughout the years thought ICP were kind of like satanic music, evil, wicked clowns, of course. But as they claim through interviews, they used all the dark, macabre terminology and storytelling to grab people's attention. And on this album, they wanted to provide a revealing message to help people and let them know that they're not all about just being ruthless and violent. And they're actually, their characters are that way, but as people, I guess you would say that they live a good life where they don't try to go out of their way to harm anyone. So they want all juggalos to follow a good path as much as you can. Try to not hurt anyone else. They certainly don't go to church every day, and they're certainly not evangelical Christians. And they might not live like a Christian type of lifestyle, but I think they are trying to live a positive one. And on this album, the Wraith takes you by the hand, and he will lead you to either Shangri-La or Hell's Pit. And the album just kind of discusses openly the concept of dying and crossing the bridge to the other side, and then just going off of the concept of the album and onto the design of working on these construction cutouts. This hand, where the hand is like, you know, like this or whatever, took probably the most amount of work to have this look completely right. I redrew it and redrew it and redrew it, and I think I got it exactly the way I wanted it to look. So if you are an artist, or an artiste rather, hopefully you can appreciate the detail of what I'm showing here. And I'm super proud of the hand and all of the stuff, actually. So you see he's like coming out of the pages of the book, the story of the Joker cards is over, and he's like, you know, the flames are coming out of the book, and it becomes the Wraith character in the cloak, and he's got the crow on his shoulder, and I left the red outline behind the crow because it kind of looks cool and hellish, and had I cut it to where the points, had I cut along the lines, it would have been very thin, you know. And I worry that it was such thin it was going to peel, you know, because it's just paper. This Jekyll Brothers thing is starting to kind of peel up a little bit on the corner here, but anyway, yeah, took hours and hours of passionate work here, but pretty well worth it, because I'll get to keep these things and use them however I see fit. I might use them in the backdrops of a Juggalos Review Foods or, you know, anything that I would like. I re-put them up for Halloween this past Halloween at work, so they can be put up annually. So they, yeah, I mean, just super proud of the work that I put in to all these guys, and it was pretty fun to make, actually. So yeah, there you have it. This is like I said, about 2 hours, 2, 4, 6, 8, you know, whatever. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, so like 12 hours of work, maybe a little bit over that. The Great Malenko might have taken 3 hours. The feather and the hat was basically its own thing, and then the face, and it was super fresh to work on all this. But I just want to take a second out to address some of the trolls in the comments. I've been watching some of the live replay of my past uploads, and I've seen where people, or a person in particular, has been comparing me to Adolf Hitler or Charlie Chaplin. And, you know, honestly, I don't see it, so, you know, I really don't appreciate your trolling comments. I've no idea what you're talking about at all. Definitely don't have any respect for Adolf Hitler. You know, if anything, be more of a Charlie Chaplin. You know what I'm saying? But because I'm like into comedy, so if anything, it would be like Charlie Chaplin. But again, like I don't see it. I don't know what you're talking about here, buddy. So, you know, the trolling needs to stop. I don't appreciate your wisecracks, and I really don't know where they're coming from at all. You know, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't come on your channel and call you names or point out physical deformities and the like. So, yeah, really don't have any idea at all what you're talking about when you're saying that I look like Charlie Chaplin or these other comments that you're making. It makes no sense, and the horsing around and clowning around, it's got to stop, okay? Because I'm going to report you to police and the Mounties, or whoever it is that deals with crimes in your area. You know, will address the cyberbullying as they see fit, you know? Like, and I don't know how they do things in your country, but I'm sure Justin Trudeau is on the job and making sure he's rounding up all the trolls and putting them into camps and then reforming them to make them very PC. And I know you don't want that, so, you know, if you don't want... It'd be one thing if there was like any sort of like correlation to what you're talking about. Like, because I'm not seeing what you're, you know, talking about. So, I mean, it's not even like it makes sense. It'd be funny if like the physical traits were there, but they're just not. You know what I'm saying? I don't look anything like Charlie Chaplin or Hitler or whatever you're talking about. So, I mean, you need to lay off, okay?